Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sports Talk 49. Always here on everything streaming everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google, StreamYard, Facebook, Twitter, all over. Make sure you check me out. But we got breaking news coming up. Gerald McCoy, former first round draft pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 12-year veteran, all pro, Pro Bowl, everything. Has just announced his retirement. Um, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Gerald McCoy, how they feel about him. I always think that if you put Gerald McCoy, if he always had to live up to Warren Sapp, you'll always disappoint yourself. It's just like every quarterback after Tom Brady. If that's what you put the spectrum in, just like the Patriots, if every person after that has to be that, they'll never meet up to your expectations because those guys don't come around that often. But you got to appreciate the guys you got. And it's just so funny, hearing the arguments about Gerald McCoy all the time about this, and that. I'm like, that's why I don't like. We appreciate fans. I'm a fan of the game myself, but what fact versus is reality are two separate things. The guy had, I took the time to print out all the defensive linemen he had to play with and the teams that he had on this team, and was still able to produce with lackluster, just like Levante David was on those teams as well, still able to produce with very, very little. And a lot of years wasted with those guys, with those bad offensive teams and bad teams, within coaching or quarterback situation, players losing lack of focus, whatever the conversation was. It was just he could never live up to whatever it is. It was always you wanted this person, you wanted that. The guy was what is he fit the scheme that we had. You wanted Sue. You ended up getting Sue later in the career and winning a Super Bowl with him. Was Sue the star of the team? Absolutely not. But he was a great contributor to the team with a lot of talent on that roster. Gerald McCoy was never awarded that. What, the 12 years here? Great. It's hard to find a person who was a bigger Tampa Bay fan than Gerald McCoy. And like I said, regardless how you felt about him, he was a true. He loved Tampa. He left his family. His family's still here. That he still loves. He's rooting for the team, rooting for these guys. You look at all these guys that leave teams and they throw nothing but dirt and salt on the team that they left. Never Gerald. Never that. Everybody always want to take shots at him. All injured this, or helping up Big Ben that, or whatever the case may be. And it's funny because all the league has changed since all of that. Everything is offensive, catered to the offense and all that. But like I said, be that as it may, to do belongs in the Ring of Honor. It's definitely in conversation of possibly a Hall of Fame player because the guy put up a lot of numbers at his position that they did not do. And now the game is definitely switched. So that's kind of, a different age of defensive tackle now in this league. But Gerald McCoy announces his retirement. We'll retire a Buccaneer. Hopefully, I can get him on this show and we can talk about it. I know him and Caleb, my who host the Sports Talk 49 with me. We talk about Gerald all the time. He's an advocate for him, just like he is for Donovan Smith and a whole bunch of other players that play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Caleb has always supported these guys, and they're still friends, even though they don't play with each other anymore. But Gerald was going to retire eventually. He's a family man. One thing Caleb always told me that what Gerald was good at doing was teaching people how to separate life and football. Because at the end of the day, we as fans, writers, and everybody, to us, it's just a game. We come out there Sunday and we watch the game, cheer or get mad, or cheer or get mad if your team won or if your team lost. It's one of those two. For those guys, it's work. I said after Sunday, they're going back to work. They got to watch film and do all that. There's no off switch for them. So when you do have those days and things like that, you need that to spend time with your family and things like that, to have a work-home life balance to keep your wife, your kids, everybody, family. But Gerald was always good at doing that. He would buy people ice cream cones, and it's just, I know there's a lot that do understand, but it's the ones that don't always have the biggest voice. And that's why you see me be controversial and argumentative with people, because I'm just so tired of that narrative always being a thing. The ones with most ignorant and don't know, I have the loudest voice, but the ones that do know what they're talking about and have a familiarity aren't heard. And if I have anything to do with it, I'm gonna always try to flip that narrative. But Gerald would, like I said, buy ice cream for the players, get to know people. One of the funniest stories Caleb told me is that when he met Gerald McCoy, and before they became friends, he asked him why they didn't talk to him, a lot. He said, because I didn't know if you were going to be around. There was no point of me getting to know you if you wasn't going to be here. Because Caleb's told that story on air before about that with the block system, the graduation system out in UCLA, the way it was. So it was just, funny hearing stories about that. And I'm sure there's many more. Gerald was on top 100 players, and listen to people talk about Gerald, what he was to the team. He wasn't, some people didn't like the way he was, but like I said, he had good head on his shoulders. Very educated person. Was fun to be around. He was a human being just like everybody else. Loves DC, loves animated stuff, loves spending time with his kids, and I know some people just couldn't get over that the guy was human. That's pretty much all it was. There's nothing to be with soft. There's nothing to be with that, because when you talk to other linemen against the other teams, last words out of their mouth will be soft. But Gerald, um, I appreciate the time that you had spent here. It was very hard watching you play with very, very, very little, and making contributions to this team, putting up the numbers you put up. There's some people that have had blessings and had other players on their team their entire career. You were not one of them. But still, you put up numbers and you're still able to do what a lot of those couldn't. So I just want to put that out there about Gerald McCoy. Put up the post and all that. It's all up about Gerald, his retirement and all that. So looking forward to whatever the next chapter is. Now, what I really originally wanted to come on and talk about, was the whole Devin White situation. Now, Devin White said from the get-go he was looking to be one of the highest paid linebackers. He wanted to win a championship, and he's checked off most of the boxes that he has. Now he's looking to get the bag. And first things first, when we're talking about that, we'll hear what Devin White had to say on First Take before he was drafted. Check this clip out.
But what about the way linebackers are paid nowadays compared to the way some other positions are paid?
I'm gonna tell you, C.J. Mosley did
that's right.
something
He
for
just
me.
cashed in.
He just did something. So think about it in 4 to 5 years when the market change again, and hopefully, if the Lord say the same, I have a great career and I could be in that position.
We were talking off.
You heard it right there. He said when the market changed, the market changed. Now linebackers are making this kind of money. It was C.J. Mosley at the time, but now it's Fred Warner. Now it's Greenlaw. Now it's all these guys, Roquan Smith. And then you just kind of, when the agents do, they match up and they communicate. Ron's explained this. I give you guys all this good information. Whether you retain it or not, it's up to you, because I ask real questions for you to learn and understand the game, what is not between the lines. They communicate with each other what contracts are and things like that. And they work out deals, whatever the deals are. And Devin said right there he wanted to be one of the highest paid guys, wanted to win a championship, and he's done that. Now he's waiting to be one of the highest paid guys. We'll see what happens with that in the future. Not sure what's going to happen, but we'll see. But a lot of people are coming out, saying, "Oh, he sucks. He's this. Trade him and all that." I mean, it just reminds me of Lamar Jackson situation, different, like in another light. You're a fan when it's at your leisure. He produced well. I'm not talking about Devin or Lamar. and they produce within their rookie contracts. And now it's time for them to be paid. You put your bodies on the line for the team and the city, and then when it's time for you to ask for something about for you, you're a villain. You're this, that. You're a family man, but you always forget. It's always about the money. It's always about the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. That's what it's about. It's about the money. And these guys, you know, they want to get market value. I mean, that's what it is. And I don't know who keeps. I know who changed the quarterback market. It was Kirk. Well, not Kirk Cousins. It was the Washington Commanders. They kept franchise tagging Kirk Cousins, and now you totally flip the market everywhere. And now Patrick Mahomes is getting $500 million and all this. Now every quarterback's getting $40 million. Running backs are going on the back burner. Corners and all these guys are getting paid, but it's a different situation these days on why everything changes and the way the market is and all this stuff now. And it's hard to keep all these guys. You have to keep. I think it puts more of an emphasis now on drafting, how important drafting is, because nowadays drafting is going to be very important. You're going to have to find these guys in the third and fourth round. Day 3 guys, that's my favorite part. Day 2 to day 3, 4. Making those picks. First round is first round. That's kind of like what everybody wants to watch. But that's not always what I've just seen. So many of these day 2 and day 3 guys fill up majority of these rosters because they weren't day 1 guys. And a lot of the day 1 guys don't look like day 1 guys. I posted on Facebook. A lot of people didn't really get what I was trying to say. I said speed doesn't exactly say you're going to put production. How many guys, like everybody's so focused on the 40-yard dash, they're like, oh yeah, that guy's going to be good. That guy's going to be awesome. Why? Because he ran in a straight line. When in football do you ever run in a straight line? Except for when there's nobody in front of you and you've made it to the point where you run, but never really happens. Very rare. Where you just get a chance to do that, and it doesn't mean it equates to success because, like I said before, the fastest guys in the league, minus Chris Johnson, and the 40-yard dash, those guys are all washed out, or some of them are just bottom tier on a team somewhere. If you have no other skill set but to run fast, I mean, it doesn't equate to success. So you got to be fast and you got to be good. Flipping to another script. Like I said, there was a couple things I wanted to hit, but just so much stuff come on. I don't know. I try to do these shorts, try to keep people's attention span. Ryan Neal, new Tampa Bay Buccaneer, just came to the team. Former Seattle Seahawk. Seems like everybody's coming out of Seattle. Had Aaron Curry on House of Hinzer. He talked about Dave Canales. I posted that on my social media. Ryan Neal, a guy who's proven to get paid. And there's a reason why DBs want to come to Tampa. Todd Bowles has a tendency to produce defensive backs. He has a tendency to do that because he played defensive back for Temple, for Bruce Arians. The guy has a propensity to elevate defensive backs and make average players good and good players great. Antoine Winfield to a whole nother level. Jamel Dean, a guy nobody knew of. He was injured a lot in college. Come out and ball out. Carlton Davis, a guy nobody cared about. Even Sean Murphy Bunting in the Super Bowl run era when he played and got picked in each game. It's just he keeps producing secondary players. You had Devin White and Levante David, an area you didn't have to really focus on because Levante is kind of like your on-field coach. You had veterans all across the defensive line. Caleb explained how much Jason Pierre-Paul's veteran leadership played on that team. So it's good to have pieces on there, and now you get a chance to retool and reload on all these positions and try to find new stars of tomorrow. You got to keep hitting these picks. Secure your offensive line. Secure your defensive line. Once you secure your I don't even call it the front of the house or the back of the house. I want to call it the base, the core of the home, what holds everything together, the glue, the base that holds everything together. Without those, man, everything else will kind of fall apart. And you could piece all those other pieces around with the bells and whistles. Once you have your foundation there, then your quarterback can play better because he has protection. Then your running backs can find running lanes. Your defensive linemen are getting sacks, taking up blocks, so your linebackers stay free. Get into the quarterback so your DBs can be more aggressive on passes and not have to play 20 yards off because they know your pass rush isn't going to get there. And when you have those two, you will win a lot of games. Everybody just so gets caught up in these skill positions. Yeah, let's get that, but you never fix the other things, so that's not going to matter. You don't fix the whole line, you can't run and you can't pass. Period. If you can't get to the quarterback, you're going to get torched. If you have no defensive line, you're going to get ran on and you're going to get thrown on because you can't get to the quarterback. It's a fact. Get that through your head. And sometimes you don't have to spend money. There's guys there. Pick guys that fit the needs that you want to do and get the best out of them. If they don't work, keep finding guys. Get these undrafted guys. Get these guys that everybody's overlooking. Find these different skill sets. I got my own sleepers in the draft coming up. That kid out of Army, that pass rusher, that's 6'7". Yes, sir. I would like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get that guy because he's a pass rush fanatic. If you don't know, go look him up. That's a conversation for another talk. But I just want to get that out. Gerald McCoy, congratulations on your retirement in your future. Hopefully we get you here right on Sports Talk 49 with me and Big C, Caleb, and possibly whoever else wants to join on those because you never know who I have on here. I always have somebody on. Looking forward to seeing Ryan Neal. Looking forward to see how the Devin White situation finishes up. But we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys, and God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.